Sweet, we're live. Okay. I'm operating on a different Hangout page tonight, so just give me a second so I can make sure everything's working like it's supposed to be. Sweet, looks like everything's working. So, let me post something here in the chat. All right, guys. So this chat is really cool. It's got all these different colors and stuff and smileys. So I'm posting a message in the chat right now so everyone knows that we're live. And so welcome to this new Hangout format. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more tonight about the beauty of this, this page that we're on right now and what that has to do with building teams. I know all the cool stuff I'm going to talk about tonight. Let's see. I want to just wait a second. Now, first of all, for those of you that are here, I just want to say thank you so much. I know this was last minute and crazy. Well, let me just check one with the Alpine Suite. Yeah, it was pretty crazy because if you read my email, wait, hold on one second. Just so you know, I'm getting a ton of messages right now. So, okay. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys showing up with such short notice, and I'll just kind of tell you what's going on. I was supposed to be down in Denver tonight with David Wood at a live cast that he was going to be doing tonight, and then his flight got delayed, so that didn't end up happening. I was in a physical therapy appointment that turned out to be really, really intense. I don't know if you can see, but like my whole, see that black is tape that goes all the way down my back. I'm all taped up. I've been having some really, really intense physical therapy, which is great because it's this woman is amazing, and I've been having a lot of physical problems for several years, which she immediately figured out is based on scar tissue that I have from a surgery, abdominal surgery that I had. So she's really clear that she's going to be able to actually clear a lot of the stuff up, which is awesome. But it was intense tonight. It was really intense. And I came home and I was going to go to bed just because I was so kind of like, I almost felt like, if you know me, I'm completely sober, but I felt like I was kind of stoned when I came out of there just because of all the intense work that she did. And I came home and got this invitation from David Wood to go hang out with him tomorrow all day from 11 to 5 in like a leadership meeting. So like a mastermind session. And if you know anything about me, you know that David Wood is one of my mentors, and I can't pass up an opportunity to hang out with him. And because there's so much going on right now, and this is such a hot topic right now, the team building topic, he's going to be doing some training on this as well. So I wanted to make sure that I got you this information right away. And, you know, so I figured even though I'm tired and spaced out, I'm going to go ahead and do it tonight because I don't want to wait because I'm not going to be around tomorrow. I'm going to be down in Denver all day with him also on Saturday in the midst of all of the soccer games I have going on with my kids and stuff. The rest of the time I'm going to be down in Denver for there's a 6-hour live cast going on Saturday that I'm going to recommend that you guys definitely get on. If you haven't registered for it yet, you can do that. On the side of this page, there's a button that you can click to get your free report on Team Explosion. And when you go download that report, it'll also take you to a page where you can register for that live stream that's happening on Saturday, which I highly, highly, highly recommend you do. I'll be there live in person. You know, if you know, David Wood, like I said, is one of my mentors, and he's one of the best, if not the best, at building teams, at building huge teams. And okay, so, you know, to learn this stuff from him, there's nobody better to learn it from. So, you know, I'm going to be talking about that a little bit. I'm actually going to turn this over to him as well in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about a few things about team building, just like I promised in my webinar invitation. And just so you guys know, I know a couple of you have signed into the chat. If you could just say hi in the chat. I just want to make sure that this is working, because I also want you to be able to ask any questions that you have that come up along the way. That's what I'm here for. I want to answer questions as I'm talking about all this stuff. So I'm also kind of curious, because it's my first time on this page, doing a webinar from this page. I want to just get a feel for how long the delay is in the comments. Usually there's a bit of a delay. So if you could just say hi, so I know that that's all working, and I know that we're good to go for the Q&A part of it. I'll be checking the comments throughout the entire thing so that I can answer questions as they come up. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get into, actually, maybe I should wait and make sure I see at least one comment so I know that this thing is working. When I was testing it out, it was a little bit confusing, because if I went to a different page, then the comments look different. So, oh, okay, I see Ann commented in here. Awesome. Hi, Ann. Perfect. Okay, so I know that this is working. Perfect. So what I want to do is I have some stuff that I want to go over, you know, just really based on, hold on, this woman is trying to get on. I don't have a computer. Okay, so, all right, I'm not going to keep checking messages throughout this whole thing. I've just had a couple people, because of the change in schedule and everything, I've just had a couple people messaging me and wanting to know what's up and how to get on and everything like that. So I don't want to leave anybody out. It's my fault that we had to change the time. Again, I really appreciate everybody being flexible. And, you know, I figure better sooner than not at all. So anyway, I see more people are jumping on the chat here. So for those of you that just jumped on, I just want to, I'm about to get started here, jumping into the content. I just want you to know that the comment stream is open for questions. If you have questions that come up while I'm teaching anything, just go ahead and put them in there, because I'm happy to answer your questions. So, you know, one of the things about tonight is that, so the topic tonight is how I've created true lifestyle freedom as a single mother by learning how to build teams. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. If you're on my team, if you've ever been on my team, you know how seriously I take this, and there's a reason for that. In my opinion, it's the most important thing that you can do to create financial freedom, time freedom, leverage, and all of that in your business. And so what I want to do is I'm just going to go through first and kind of touch on some of the stuff that that I said I was going to touch on. And again, make sure to just ask me questions as I go. And you know, so I have a bunch of stuff that I want to cover. And then I'm going to also show you how this cool technology works. And I'm going to turn this over to David Wood in a few minutes when I'm finished doing my training. So how I created time freedom and financial success as a single mother by learning how to build teams. So If you know anything about team building, and maybe you don't, which is totally fine, this is a perfect place for you to be. If you are doing any kind of a business that doesn't involve team building and that just involves you doing everything, what happens is it's basically like trading hours for dollars. You can only make as much money as the hours that you have time to work. Does that make sense? Because there's no leverage involved. So, you know, like, think of it this way. The CEO of a corporation has a team under him, right? He's got like a bunch of employees, managers, you know, assistant managers, whatever, vice presidents, and then like employees, and all the way down to, you know, the people that clean the office building, everything. So he's got teams of people under him. If he didn't, he would be the one mopping the floor, making the phone calls, paying the bills, doing everything himself. But because he has teams of people, he's able to be at the top as the CEO and kind of run the show and make a lot more money and have a lot more time freedom than he could if he was trying to do everything himself. Does that make sense? So that's why building a business with a team under you allows you, I mean, first of all, it's a lot more fun, in my opinion, to have a community of people that you get to work with on a daily basis. I love my team. I love working with the team. And, you know, so there's that aspect of it too. It's a lot more lonely if you're trying to do everything yourself, but it's also a lot more work. So what does it mean to develop team culture? If you are someone that's on my team or ever been on one of my teams, you know, hold on a second, I'm trying to find my way back to the, oh, here we go, okay. So if you've ever been on one of my teams, you know that team culture is something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that's really important. It's something that I take really seriously. And what it means is like building a tribe of people that feel connected, that feel like a community, that feel loyal to the team and to working with you. And, you know, and that only happens when there's culture created. There's a lot of people that know how to go out and like recruit tons and tons of people, but they don't create a culture. So people don't stick around. A lot of times, you know, like it happens all the time. There are people that are like just recruiting machines. They're just really, really good at recruiting. But unless they're building team culture, they have to keep recruiting like crazy in order to have any type of profit, because people don't stick around. The beauty about building a culture on a team is that it actually creates residual income, because people stick around, and as they build teams under them and they continue to, you know, stick around and buy products or whatever they end up doing, you end up creating this residual income that creates a long-term sustainable income. And you can actually make a lot more money recruiting a lot less people if you have team culture. So what do I mean by team culture? What does it take to create team culture? Well, one thing is you need to be a leader. You need to be someone that people know, like, trust, and want to follow. If you're just like, you know, you can like think of yourself as a leader, but be a complete jerk, cracking the whip, and nobody, you know, wants to stick around. So if you want to build culture, you want to be the kind of leader that people just really want to be around, that people look up to, that people want to follow, that people know, like, and trust, that, you know, just people feel really good about being part of a community that you've created. So in order to have culture, that needs to be in place. You do need to be a leader. You need to let the people in your team have a voice, because again, this is a culture, this is a community, so it's not a dictatorship. You know, it is your team that you've created, you're the leader of the team, but it's awesome to get your team members involved. You know, if you've been teams, you know that I've had my teams involved in naming the team and lots of different decisions that go into running a team. And so if you let your team members have a voice, that is going to make a big difference for them, and they're going to want to stick around. And, you know, you want to raise people up. You want to call people out, you know, like really recognize people for their achievements and their successes, welcome people into the community. You know, on our team, we have a Facebook group that's very active, where every time a new person comes into the community, they get welcomed in. Every time somebody has a success, they get acknowledged there. We are constantly congratulating people, and just, we're not doing, I'm not talking about, our Facebook group, we don't have like spam going on. We don't have a bunch of like cat videos and all kinds of like funny things to make people laugh. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about personally acknowledging your team members for their successes, patting them on the back when they do anything that deserves acknowledgement, and doing that on a regular basis. Respect your team. Treat your team well. You want to definitely be your word. Have integrity. Don't, say you're going to do something and then not do it. That kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that will have your team culture will fall apart faster than you'll be able to do anything about it if you are operating out of integrity. So that's a super, super important piece. Lead by example. This is a huge one. So if you are telling your team, like, giving them advice about, this is what you need to do to be successful, you need to be doing the same thing. You need to be doing what you're telling your team to do. You should probably be doing it even more than they're doing it. And that's what I mean by leading by example. The best thing that you can do to create team culture is lead by example and produce results so that people want to stick around because they know that you understand how to get results. So that's another huge piece about culture. Okay. So what everyone ought to know about achieving financial success and freedom in this industry. Building teams is what creates freedom. And there's a certain way, like there's specific ways to build a really solid team. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. We're not going to go into that in detail. But really, what I want to hit home is that building teams is what creates financial success and freedom. It's without a team, there is no leverage. Just like I was saying before, if you don't have a team, you're doing all the work yourself, and you're not. There's plenty of people that make a lot of money. There's plenty of people that make a lot more money than I do that don't have teams, that have no time freedom. Like my kid's doctor, for example. The guy works like around the clock. And I know his daughter. She went to school with my sister, and like she's at Harvard now and all stuff. And the guy, like, he probably has more money than me, but he has zero time freedom. Like, he's always at work. That's every time I see him, like he talks about that. Like, he doesn't really have a lot of downtime at all. He has like 4 kids, I think. He hardly ever sees them, and all this stuff. And so it's like, yeah, he might be a doctor and he might have a lot more money than me, but I wouldn't trade my lifestyle for his for a second. And the reason is that I have a team of people that allows me to be able to, take time off when I want. Today I spent the day at my daughter's school, helping out in the classroom. And, I can do that kind of thing because I have leverage. And the leverage that I have also creates residual income. Residual income is what allows me to work on the days that I want to work or that I'm available to work, and take time off on the days that I don't, because of what's happening on the team. Because I've built a big team, and in the particular vehicle that I use, which is Empower Network, we have 2 products that are monthly subscriptions, and those monthly subscriptions create residual income. And because I have a big team of people who stick around in Empower Network, that residual income is a full-time income for me. So everything else is like gravy. So if I want to take the day off, I can do that. So this is like a key piece. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about people that know how to produce high numbers of results. Maybe they're, driving lots of cold traffic and signing people up to whatever they're doing, lots and lots of people, but they're not building culture and people aren't sticking around, then that residual income piece is going to be missing, in which case they're not going to have time freedom. They're going to have to keep recruiting at that speed in order to continue to sustain their income at any level. So just checking over here for see if you guys have any questions. So it looks like you don't. So that's why building teams is the most crucial element to time freedom and success. And I don't care what anybody says, it is. You know, like I said, I can think of a lot of other examples besides a doctor of people who trade hours for dollars and don't have leverage in their business, don't have the ability to build teams of people that can actually do what they do. Like my team, and you know, we all work together and we all do the same thing. And you know, the beauty of it is that when you're able to build a team, you benefit off of the work that your team does, and that's what creates that time freedom. You know, the other beautiful thing about building a team, and this is huge, is that when you build a team that's loyal, a loyal following, a loyal tribe, like I was talking about, people that know you, like you, trust you, respect you. The beautiful thing about this, and I've experienced this myself, is they'll follow you wherever you go. Now, I'm not somebody that jumps from company to company every week. I mean, I know there's people out there that have, you know, they chase shiny objects. That does that, then, you know, the chances of people following you every something else are not very good. But like for me, I've always been really, really committed to everything that I've done. So like in the case where like you build a team and they're super loyal to you and they love you and they know you and they like you and they trust you, if your company building your team in goes out of business or whatever, shuts their doors, goes bankrupt, you know, or for whatever reason it's not working anymore or whatever, and you decide to go to another company, that team that you built is more than likely, as long as you've been a good leader, you've led by example, you've had results, and you've shown them that you know what you're doing, they'll follow you to the next thing. I've had this happen. There's some of you here that followed me from somewhere, you know, the last company that I was in. So I know that this is true, and I've seen it happen with other people as well. And like I said, this is, you know, the disclaimer here is like, if you're jumping from one thing to another every week, don't expect, I don't care, you know, how loyal your team is. If you're not committed to what you're doing, this is another important piece. If you're going to be a leader of a team, you need to be committed to and passionate about what you're doing if you expect people to stick with you and follow you. So, all right, I'm going to move to segment here. But before I do, I just want to make sure, any questions so far about anything that I just said? Okay, so one of the things that I want to do is I want to talk about, let's see if I can find this real quick. Hold on a sec. Okay, so hold on, let me have a drink. So as I mentioned, David Wood is one of my biggest mentors. I love the man dearly. He's got the biggest heart of anyone I've ever met. He's one of the biggest visionaries of our time. And he's also the biggest expert that I happen to know of that, that knows how to build huge, huge, huge teams successfully and make millions and millions of dollars doing it and create a huge amount of loyalty from the people that follow him. And if any of you guys were on his training for the recent training that he rolled out called the Top Producers Formula, he talked a lot about why it's really, really important to do live events on a regular basis to build a team. And anyway, I'm going to go through right now, I'm going to go through 5 reasons that you need to do weekly live team coaching and recruiting hangouts if you're serious about success. Now, if you're on my team, you know that we've been doing a weekly hangout for a long time. And it's, you know, it serves 2 purposes. It's to train the team, and it's also to give the team an opportunity to invite other people to come check the team out. And there's always an opportunity there where people can actually join the team. So it serves a couple different purposes. So All right, so the 5 reasons you have to do weekly trainings, according to David Wood. Number 1, it's how to get to a full-time income. If you're doing something every week, people are going to take you seriously, and they're just going to see you as a leader, and they're going to want to be a part of what you're doing. And it's going to grow a lot faster than if you're not doing something on a regular basis and you're just kind of every once in a while you're sending out an email or doing a blog post or something like that. If you consistently do live events, it's going to make a huge difference. Number 2, it's how you create the system that builds your team. So these Hangouts are not, I mean, they're really easy to set up. They're even easier than they used to be, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, on a page like you're on right now. But the Hangout system is the system that's going to build your team. If people have a place that they can come and be together every week and learn something and bring people to check it out, it's what's going to build your team faster than anything else. Number 3, it's a smart way to grow and support your team. It's a lot easier as your team grows to be able to coach them and support them in a group setting where you're doing, like maybe you're doing a training and you've got the comment stream like you have here on this page where people can ask questions and so forth, rather than getting on the phone with I mean, there's no way at this point that I could possibly get on the phone with every single one of my team members every week. There's way too many people. So it's just smart. It's leverage. Again, it's leverage. It's a way to grow and support your team in a smart way. Number 4, it's how you energize your team and acknowledge them. Again, if you've ever been on our weekly team Hangouts, you know that we do recognition and acknowledgement for people for all kinds of different things. And it energizes people. Again, it's a way for people to come together and check in so they don't feel like they're out there like the Lone Ranger. You know, when you're building a business on the internet, it's easy to like feel alone doing that. So when you bring your team together on a weekly basis, it energizes them, it inspires them. And number 5, it's how you step into leadership. If you want people to see you as a leader, you need to be leading. You need to be doing something to have you occur as a leader. And you know, this has been my experience. Live events is what I did. I mean, right now I've been working side by side with Chris for a while, and we do some stuff together. We do a lot of stuff together. But before I partnered up with Chris, I was in Empower Network for, about over a year before I started working with Chris. And so what I did for that entire year was I did trainings, I did webinars every week where basically I would just go out and I would learn a new skill inside of the Empower Network products. There's tons and tons of amazing marketing training. So I would learn a new marketing skill, and then I would do a live training teaching that skill. And I would be completely upfront with people about what I was doing. Like for the first hour, I'm going to train on this. And then the last half hour, I'm going to show you how I make money online. So basically, for the last part of it, I would talk about my vehicle, Empower Network, and give people an opportunity to work with me. And that's how I recruited a lot of people in the beginning and how I started to build my team. And then by continuing to do that on a regular basis, people stuck around. I built my team culture that way. People feel like they know me. Even my team members that have never met me in person feel like they know me. So it's an amazing way to step into leadership. So, live events is one really good way to build your team. So what I want to do now is I just want to talk quickly, and I'm going to show you something really awesome that you're going to love. But really, the live event thing, I think, has gotten in people's way because they, I've had some of my team members actually ask me, well, how do I set up a Hangout page, like this page that you're on, right? Like people want to know, well, how do I even create a page like that? Like I don't have a website, or I don't know how to do it. So Google Hangouts, which is where I'm talking to you from right now, is completely free. And it's super easy to set up a Hangout. So if you wanted to get it like up on a page like this with a comment stream under it and just all this different stuff, like if you look on the right side of this page where it says get your free report, download now, you can actually click on that and download a free report. And I can change this out really easily and put anything I want in this box right here because I have this really cool Ninja software that is now available to the people that register for the webcast that's happening on Saturday. So like I said, if you click on this, get your free report now, download the free report, and then you'll be taken to a page where you can register for that webcast. When you register for that webcast, it's only $17 for 6 hours worth of training by David Wood about team building. And the really cool bonus that you get is access to this software that I'm using right now to do this webinar. And what it'll do is it allows you to just have a page. It even shows you in the back office of the software, it even shows you how to set up a Google Hangout if you have never done one before. But basically, you just set up your Google Hangout and you put it on this page and it plays it for you. And so it makes it really easy for, nobody can possibly have an excuse not to be doing weekly live trainings with this kind of software. You can make this page look however you want. You can put whatever header you want on it. It's completely customizable. So if you haven't built a team yet and you've been out there kind of marketing like the Lone Ranger and you really haven't been doing live events, I really recommend more than anything else, and so does David Wood, that you start doing live events on a regular basis. This is going to make the biggest difference for you. And it's great to leverage the live events of your team, like, you know, like our teammates, our team members come to the live events that we do every week and they invite people, and that's awesome. But if you really want to be seen as a leader, you need to be the one on the screen. So this software will allow you to do that. And so, you know, again, you can get access to this software. So the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you way more details from the man himself about team building, why it's important, and a lot more details about some of David Wood's secrets about it. So what I'm going to do is you're going to get to see another really, really cool feature of this, this software that I'm using, because I'm going to turn it over to David Wood right here live on the screen. So bear with me for 1 second. And here's the deal. I'm going to turn it over to David Wood. You're going to see some training by him. And while he's talking, I'm going to be here answering questions. So if you have any questions or anything, just continue to put them in, and I will continue to answer them. Okay, I'm going to be here the whole time. All right, so let's see. Oops, hold on 1 second. Let's get him out here. Why is it doing that? Hold on 1 second. I don't know. Right. All right, there we go. Here he comes, guys.
There's no turning back. It's the only plan that you have. You do whatever it takes to succeed.
Because you will discover your true values, your true voice, what you believe in. See, people follow people that believe in something.
It is not only about the education, it goes beyond that. It's a leadership, it's a community. That's really what we have here.
Where can you get good training from successful people?
We've been in this industry for over 9 years. I've learned more in this last 13 months than I have for the past 8+ years. That's no joke.
You know, it's a small fee to pay if you're compared to other franchises out there.
He was saving up for the specific purpose of purchasing information, education, and so I knew that he didn't take this lightly.
You have to believe in something. Why do we all follow Dave? Because he's got a vision. He believes in something, and we know that he's going to make it happen.
The biggest thing you need to ask yourself is, are you taking your business seriously?
Financially, I've made over $90,000 in my first 90 days, which is incredible.
Really, the ability to get people to listen to you comes from social authority. I've also learned so much about business that I didn't know, and about online marketing that I didn't know beforehand. For example, selling high-ticket products, building a team, duplication.
That was kind of the turning point for me that made me realize that this is something that I can do. This is something that anybody can do. This is something that I'm going to do.
You know, you think about like, what if you only put a couple dollars of gas in your car? Well, it's not going to get you very far. We wanted to fill up the tank and really fire on all cylinders, and it only made sense to have success quickly.
If you've earned money in Empower Network at least one time, everybody in the room that's earned a commission, everybody that's earned a commission, stand up.
I'm a big team builder, and some of the things I learned about team building, I was able to implement that in my own team.
My team followed exactly what I did because people don't do what you say, they do what you do.
I found this system, and you don't name it yet. You just say, I found this system because you want them to engage with you to the end. You know, I thought I knew a lot about affiliate marketing, but this has kind of opened my eyes to a whole bunch of new stuff that I didn't actually know before.
I wished that I would have found it, years prior, so I've spent 6 years struggling in the industry.
I focused on building more serious team. And this product taught me to do that. This product taught me that less customer can bring more money.
Teaches the brand new person that's getting started how to really take their business and take it to another level.
The product line in Empower in general just covers the science behind how to do everything in marketing.
We've built a huge team within Empower, and my team is duplicating better than it's ever done.
We had big dreams, and we really understood that if you want to do something different, you have to make bigger decisions than what you can make before. If you want to get a different result in life, you have to sometimes put yourself out there. What the products are really there for, to empower and to teach and educate someone how to literally just have a strong foundation in marketing in general so that they can go out and just succeed in anything.
If you really have the desire, those people will make it happen. When you have enough desire, the universe conspires to make it happen. It is an amazing thing what people can do when they have a goal in front of them.
When people come in, they're not here just to win a lottery ticket, they're here to build a business.
I honestly believe that the products are worth a lot more than you pay for them.
Folks, obviously the income examples discussed are extraordinary. The income claims presented are not intended to serve as a guarantee of income. Instead, they're designed to give you an idea of what's possible. Success in this business requires leadership, hard work, and dedication. Since we want to help you make an informed decision, we've gone above and beyond with our income disclosure document. If you want to see the average earnings, please visit the page at www.empowernetwork.com/income.php.
Till this day, just talking about it, I can see it like literally as if we were sitting there. We walk down these wooden stairs and we go to this beautiful waterfall. It has this whirlpool in the middle, and Justin jumps in, he's swimming away, and Dave has his back to him and we're talking. And I'm looking over at Justin.
I just screamed at the top of my lungs, like for my wife, and Dave overheard, and Dave, without hesitation, jumped in the waterfall, and he was able to somehow get me out. And I know he sacrificed almost losing his own life in order, to save me. So what happened as far as the breakthrough, I realized I can't take life for granted. This is a second chance to really make our lives count, to be able to leave an impact.
I think that was my breakthrough. Not only just sitting there watching my husband take his last breath, but to watch a man that is not family to us. He's not his brother, he's not his father. To be honest, we were strangers. He was just the guy with the system. And he jumped in, and it said to me a lot about his vision. Dave didn't hesitate, and I think that's really what struck me most about this whole thing, just looking back at it so many times in life. You have a decision, or you have an opportunity in your life where you can make a decision or you can make a change. You can take hold of life like Dave did, and he didn't hesitate. He asked Justin, "Hey buddy, you all right?" He didn't wait for an answer. Once he didn't get it, he literally went in without thinking. He just took action.
When I first met Dave Wood, that's really where I knew that I was in the right place at the right time.
Believe in yourself. Look, I don't care what your teachers told you. I don't care what your parents told you. It doesn't matter. You want to know why? Because you can do things you can't imagine that you can do. Because you're a human being.
I had never come across a leader with that big a heart, that big a love, that great of a vision, and really the commitment, not to himself, not to his own company, not to his own bank account, but the commitment that he had to the people that he was trying to help. And that's when I knew I absolutely was in the right place. Not only did I feel excited about the Empower Network opportunity or enthusiastic, but I really felt honored to be a part of what we're doing.
That's somebody who writes their goals down. That's somebody that's got a dream. Who else in here knows the day you're going to get the ring?
What is it that David has that is almost hypnotical? It's almost magical. There is this feeling when he looks at you and he asks you a question, or he asks a question to a full audience, you pretty much feel he's talking to just you. And that's a very powerful feeling. You can start searching through your soul, to your inside. He's passing it on to us.
That the only thing that separates you from where you want to be is making a decision to change and making a decision to come up here and to claim your future. What's that really worth? What's that really worth, honestly? What do you guys think it's worth?
When you can have that, when you can have a leader speaking through you, through your beliefs, through your core, through you, who you are, right? I think that's when people really make a decision. That's when people make the decision that, yeah, they're going to change their lives. And they make the decision that they're going to believe in themselves. I guess that's what happened to me. When I saw him in Miami and he asked me, he just asked me the question, how are you doing, Elena? But he asked it in a way that it was almost like if I was asking myself the question, how are you doing, Elena? So it was a soul-searching kind of experience, and was very magical.
Hey folks, this is Dave Wood, and I wanted to welcome you to the Hangout. Thanks for that great introduction. Tonight is going to be a little bit different, and the reason is partly because I'm moving I'm moving right now. So as you can see, I don't know if you can actually see this in the Hangout, but I've got plastic covered furniture everywhere. That's something Brazil likes to do. I've never covered things in plastic when I move, but apparently it protects them. It makes them not get scratched up and stuff. So we've been coordinating with moving through, grabbing stuff. And the interesting thing about that is I didn't realize how much stuff I had. When I moved into my last house this last year, I moved into this house and it was like just this 4-story like hotel, which is one of the reasons I'm moving, is because it feels like I'm actually living in a hotel. I don't have employees running around me to manage that place. But I just packed this 4-story house with stuff, and then when I was putting it all in boxes, I realized, I was like, holy smokes, I got some stuff lying around here that my parents did the 7th kid. So we've been trucking stuff over all day. I'm now living in the top of the mountain where you can kind of see the city in every direction. You can't see it now because it's raining outside. The city's back there. And tonight I'm excited. Here's why I'm excited, is because, well, I have been packing my things, and when I've been moving and coordinating with the moving, and really the whole weekend I've just been like taking things and moving them from one spot to another, or coordinating with somebody else and moving them. There's been emails going out with my name. There's been distributors, affiliates, and countries all over the world, places where I don't speak language. Sending emails out and talking to their friends and family and showing presentations and signing people up and selling things. In fact, I woke up this morning, and this morning when I woke up, I had a minute when I first got to this house, first truck, because my internet got shut off in my other place. I had a minute where I got to log in and just check, how much money people had made today using the system. And what's cool about that is when I checked it, we have, well, I think I got to mute somebody out here. Here it is. There. When I checked it, we had one of our biggest income days today in a long time for what people had done over the weekend while I was packing boxes and moving things. This is the power of team building. What it allows you to do is it allows you to build a business that grows beyond your sphere of influence. It grows beyond your ability to manage it. It grows beyond your ability to control it, right? Too many people, especially online, they want to build an income. They want to build a business where they control every part of the process. Like they want to hyper-manage everyone. They want to hyper-control everyone. And the reality is, here's what everybody really wants who's watching this video right now, and that includes you. What you really want is you really want to be able to pick up, put your things in a suitcase, and oftentimes sink your toes into the hot sand, or maybe you want to kick trees and do Thai kickboxing, whatever it is, with your family or your wife, or maybe you want to go find a family or a wife or a husband. And you want to be able to travel the world. You want to be able to see things all over the place. And, well, you are living the dream. You've got an army of people around the world that the numbers of them are so vast, you literally can't even imagine a room of them. And all of them are going to work and making you money, whether you're awake or whether you're sleeping. And that's one of the coolest things that made me fall in love with this industry in the first place. See, if I just wanted to sell stuff, I'm one of the best people at selling stuff. In fact, if you're on this webinar, chances are you'll feel desire to buy. There'll be a buy button over to the right. If you've already bought it, you'll feel bad because you can't buy it yet. You may want to just set your credit card out and just prepare for that. Prepare for that desire to buy, because the truth is that the amount of money that it's going to cost you to buy it is so minimal anyways. You may as well just pull your credit card out, get ready, and attend this Saturday's live cast, where I'm going to be training you on how to build an empire, how to build an army, how to build a team that expands way beyond your capacity to even imagine it. I'm going to be showing you the principles and skills and really the mindset on how to do that. And I'm going to be showing you this Saturday, live from a studio broadcast in Denver, Colorado. So you want to make sure to register for that. I believe the link is actually over there. You want to make sure to click on it. If the link's not there yet, wait for it. As soon as it appears, pull out your credit card and register, because we've got tons of people registered for that thing. I'm really looking forward to showing you the principles. So back in 2009, I got started building a business on the internet. And I wasn't used to internet marketing. I was used to offline network marketing. And that had come from 7 years of the most unimaginable, horrible failure that you could even think of, right? Where I got started in the home-based business industry in 2002, and I talked to my sponsor, the person who got me in, and I said, how do I make money doing this? I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to live the dream. I want to be able to inspire people. I want to be able to lift people up. I want to be able to make money when I sleep. I want to have people on the other side of the world waking up when I go to sleep, and people on the other side of the world are going to be making me money when I'm not doing anything. I want to be able to do that. Here's what he told me to do. He says, Dave, I want you to pull out a pen, pull out a notebook, and this is going to be your Bible. And I said, okay, what do I do? Right? In the Bible and read it. And he says, I want you to make a list of everybody you know, everyone, and invite them over to your house for a meeting. And I want you to show them the plan, show them your vision. Well, the problem was, I was living in Phoenix, Arizona. I just got up from a 2-year mission trip, and all my family and friends were either missionaries who had no money or weren't allowed to join a business as missionaries, or they were living in Alaska, and I was living in Phoenix, and I actually couldn't, call people in Alaska and realistically expect them to fly across the world and meet them in Phoenix. We didn't have Google Hangouts like you see today. Webinar technology was like in some ancient cave, right? And so I told him, I said, I can't do this. He says, why not? Are you scared? I said, of course I'm not scared. These people are scattered all over. All the people I know are all over the world. He says, and you need new family and friends. I said, how do I get them? He said, just go meet people. He didn't give me any advice on how to meet people, so I just ended up wandering around, prospecting, hitting people up, and giving them lines like, hey, you seem like a sharp person. Keep your business options open. And people said, yeah, I keep my business options open. I say, I expand the business here and now. And I tried to make money from home doing that for 7 years. Now, it never really occurred to me after I actually started making money. I've never really thought too hard about why it took me 7 years to ask a question, is there a better way, right? Is there a better way? And that's what I discovered in 2009. I discovered how to build without having to move around all the time. And so right now, as you're watching this, I'm actually standing on the pinnacle of a mountain that has almost 360, it's about a 270-degree view of the city and the mountains. You can actually see the ocean from here. You can also see San Jose. You can see Escazú. You can see the coolest places in Costa Rica, all from this place that I'm sitting right now. And while I'm here in Costa Rica, which is not even the country I was born in, I have people on this hangout. Literally, not just on this hangout, but I've got people who are taking this hangout on their own page, right? And they've introduced me, and now it's playing this hangout from their introduction. And I'm literally speaking to people in living rooms. I'm speaking to people in other languages. I'm speaking to people in other countries. I'm speaking to people in North America. I'm speaking to people in South America. I'm speaking to people in South Africa. I'm speaking to people in Australia. And like the English Empire, the sun never goes down. The sun never goes down on my India. Because the sun is, well, not the sun doesn't circle around the world. That's about to get raked alive by scientists there. But as the Earth travels around the sun appears to go around it. The sun is waking people up in different parts of the world as they are waking up and wake up, sleep, to begin to build their dreams on the internet as part of my team. That is what the team building formula is all about. That's what these skills are all about. It's teaching you how to build an army of people that stay loyal to you. You don't even have the ability to communicate with them personally. It's teaching you how to keep people around that are disconnected from you for 5 generations. It's teaching you how to build a business where customers refer customers, affiliates refer affiliates, and it duplicates 5 levels down, 1,000 miles away in another country, another language, that does stuff. It's teaching you how to have the effect that old school network marketers have where they're flying around the world doing meetings, except for you're just sitting in your home. It's teaching you how to build authority and power and how to lift people up and how to inspire people and cause internal transformations in teams. You don't really having to be some superhero. You'll just have the appearance of being. What the team build the formula is really all about. It's about taking you, right, out of the picture of your business so your business can shine and it can grow when you're not even in it. Because that's what you really want. And you say, Dave, I want to control everything. I want to be a part of everything. Here's what I'm going to challenge you, and here's what I'm going to tell you. When I got started online, this is 2009, I finally started making a lot of money because I started to take these principles and apply them. I started to take the principles I taught last month in the Top Producer Formula and apply them. I started to sell a lot. I started to close people all the time. I started to upsell people, and I started to get so good at list building. I started to get so good at blogging. I started to get so good at culture building that I was able to recruit 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, 10 people a day off really minimal lead flow. I mean, we're talking 23 to 30 leads a day. My income went from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month to $30,000 a month. See our income disclosure at empowernetwork.com/income. Not guaranteeing you're going to make money. But mine just kept going up, and it kept going up because I kept applying those principles. But then something happened after I started making a lot of money. And here's what started to happen to me. What I started to notice was I was bringing people into my organization, and they literally weren't doing anything. Like, I started to recruit a lot. I started to sell a lot. And then I had this big old team of people sitting around, right, who were all trying to do what I was doing. And I was teaching them what I was doing. I was teaching them what to do. And I had this big group of people that, for whatever reason, they didn't know how, but they didn't understand it. It took too much time. It was too complicated. For whatever reason, I had this big army of people who couldn't do what I was doing. So you know what I did is I started to try stuff, right? I started to do the unthinkable. I just started to, like, have an idea and I'd try it. I'd say, okay, I want to get these people to be successful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to coach people for free, right? I was making $30,000, $40,000 a month just producing myself, right? Like I teach people to do. I was like, I'm going to teach people. I'm just going to coach for free. If they're in my team, I'm going to coach them. I'm going to send out a form. I'm going to make them do what I tell them I'm going to do. And I'm going to give them coaching and just get on the phone and just see if it works. So what happened is I started to pop on the phone with people. I started to take calls from my narrow mind. I started to literally just help them, like coaching them through building their capture pages, what to say to people and how to close people and how to do things, right? And here's what I noticed, is that me spending all that time, everybody that wanted it, had zero effect on whether they succeeded at all. Zero. In other words, if I was coaching one person, they might start working. Another person who I wasn't coaching might just start working harder and they'd actually produce more. And so whether or not I was talking to them, literally I found through just looking at large numbers of people, for, you know, at the time it was like a team of about 10,000 people I was running, right? And over those 10,000 people that I had in my organization, it literally didn't matter at all if I was talking to somebody or if I wasn't talking. Like, it had zero effect, right? Now, I was teaching people exactly what to do. A great example was I had the word spam in my organization, and I wasn't talking to them at all. And I was talking to all these people all day and night, right? and teaching them what to do, and teaching them what to do, and teaching them what to do. And all the while I was doing all this stuff, here's what was happening with Lawrence. Lawrence just would get on my webinars, do exactly what I said to do, and just go to work. And he started producing and making sales all on his own. And so then I called him and I was like, hey, dude, nice to meet you. You know what I mean? So it had zero effect on whether I talked to people or not. So I tried it and I was like, you know what? I guess coaching people has zero effect on their success unless they're already succeeding or something. So I'm just going to cut it out. So you know what I did is I did the unthinkable is I just turned my phone off and I stopped coaching people with my team. Now, I wasn't charging for it. I was doing it for free. But why did I stop? I stopped it because it had zero effect on whether people succeeded or not, right? Most people would never try something like that. They would never ask the question, if I just stop coaching people, will it have any effect whatsoever on their success or not success? But I tried it, and I tried a whole bunch of other stuff too. I tried all these things trying to figure out a way to get people to finally create this imaginary empire that I've heard so many people talk about. I wanted to be able to create a business where first it started to replicate fast. I started to get a person, to get a person, to get a person. I'd get 5, we'd get 5, we'd get 5, and then all of a sudden 5 levels down, I'd have 15,625 like you draw in those crazy drawings. You know what I mean? I wanted to build a business like that. So I started to try different things and try different things and try different things. And I was making a lot of money, but none of the things that I was trying didn't really work the way that I wanted it to work. Now, some of you have been through things like that. Some of you, you're wondering, gosh, I just want to get my first guy. Well, you don't want to just get your first guy, and here's why. If you're going to go out there and you're going to start recruiting, here's what you actually want to do. What you actually want to do is you want to start building a business, regardless whether you're affiliate with your network marketing, whatever you're doing. You want to start building your business in a way where as you're bringing your first people in, you're bringing them in a way that starts to replicate themselves and replace you, right? You want to bring people in such a way as to where when you're bringing them in and all of a sudden you're removed out of the picture, the growth of your organization continues when you're removed, no matter at what point you're removed from the picture. That's what you want to do, and that's how you want to start building your team, right? So for me, it wasn't like that. I'd bring people in and 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 bring people in. I was like the superhero, man in tights, as I like to say. And then what happened is when I stopped doing it, everybody just stopped. The whole organization just stopped. They just stopped building. I didn't have like I have today, where if I stopped, people just kept going. If I didn't send an email, they just got to send anyway. If I wasn't recruiting, it didn't matter because my recruiting was happening automatically. If I wasn't there showing presentations, it didn't matter because people were taking in videos and re-embedding them, doing presentations in their houses on their own. That wasn't happening for me for a long time. But you know what I did? I decided that I was going to do what Thomas Edison did. You know, when he wanted to invent the light bulb, he didn't just go out there. He didn't just, try it one time. He didn't try it 15 times. He didn't say, oh, teams can't duplicate, and then just stop trying. Like a lot of people on the internet do that. If you talk to any big name gurus in the online MLM space, most of them have given up on MLM a long time ago, and they don't even believe that it works because they've never been able to figure it out. But like Thomas Edison, what I decided to do was different. What I decided to do is just continue to try stuff, and 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 continue to try stuff. And I didn't really care if I had to work a lot to try it. I didn't really care if I had to test a lot of ideas, and I didn't really care if I had to spend a lot of money because I knew how to make money at that point. But I just kept trying stuff and 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 trying stuff. Then in 2011, early on, it was about in March, I had a series of ideas that came from a point of inspiration. And this is kind of how the story goes. Around January that year, I was building a business, building a business, building a business, building a business. And I got really frustrated because I tried so many things trying to help my team succeed, trying to help my team grow, trying to get it to duplicate, trying to get it to go in other languages, trying to get it to spread around the world. And it just wasn't growing like I wanted it to grow. And for me, I felt like at that point, I had started kind of self-centered, right? And the reason was because I was building these teams and I was talking to people and I was doing webinars and I was doing activity where I was teaching people what to do, and for whatever reason it wasn't happening. I didn't see people start to replicate success. I didn't see people in my growth team start to have success. And so because of that, my check was just kind of like flatline like this. It'd go up over time, But it was like I was running it. It was like I was this train dragging. And like I was trying to drag 1,000 people with me. And I was really strong, so I was doing okay, right? But like Jim Rohn says, you might be able to drag 3 people, maybe if you're really strong, 5. But you could run with 1,000. So I was like trying to drag people along is what I felt like. And what I finally did is I came to this spot, I said, okay, I'm just gonna stop everything. And if I can't figure out, excuse me, if I can't figure out how to help people succeed, if I can't figure out how to get this to do, if I can't figure out how to build these teams from 10,000 to 100,000, if I can't help people to get a person from 0 to 10,000, I'm just gonna quit. I'll go live in a van again. I'll go be homeless again. I'll go work at Walmart or Safeway and like flip burgers because I would rather do something like that and feel honest than sell thin air, right? Because I care about my team, right? I just don't want to sit around and do stuff that I feel conflicted about. Anybody who knows me knows that if I feel conflicted about something, I just won't do it at all, right? Not at all. I won't even start. I won't even do it at all, right? So I literally stopped working in January of 2011. And at the time I was making around 30, 40,000 a month, sometimes 50,000. And here's what happened, right? This is before the days when I owned the company. This is before the days I was just a rep earning 30% commissions, right? Selling other people's stuff, building teams with other people's stuff, earning tiny commissions, but off, 5,000 to 10,000 people. I stopped working at all, and I stopped doing anything. And I just thought for like 3 months, okay? And I just wandered around in the mountains and I thought all day, listening to meditation music. And I'd wake up in the morning with a whiteboard and I'd write on a whiteboard and come up with ideas, right? And I did that for about 3 months, okay? I did that for about 3 months. And then one day I was walking through the mountains and I was sitting there and I was thinking, I was like, I'm just gonna go and do something else for a living. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna like self-thin air, I'm not willing to continue to do it. And I asked a question, and I asked a question, and I asked a question. I said, how can I do this? What's the way to do this? I had a series of ideas just go in my brain. From all this thinking I'd done and all the studying I'd done, it was like a flash of inspiration. It was like a decision point where all this information just kind of came together in my head. And the principles and the information that came together in my head, all these things were the principles and the information that I teach in Team Building 1. It's all the stuff that I'm going to teach you, those of you who are attending, is scattered. Right? This is not like information for people who want to make $1,000 a month from home. But if you want to make $1,000 a month from home or $5,000 a month from home, go mow lawns for a living, right? This is for people that want serious money. This is for people that want to go out there and build empires. This is for people that really, they're in this and they're saying, hey, I might only want to work 2 hours a day, but I want that 2 hours a day to turn into 10,000 people working 2 hours a day. This is for people that want to start something that grows beyond. This is for people that are serious about their future. This isn't for wieners and wine bags and all these people that are just going to be like, I'm going to try it out and I'm going to buy this one product and hope it fixes everything. If it doesn't fix everything, then I'm going to quit, right? If you want to quit after look, if you're not willing to spend $7 or $17 or whatever this product costs by now because there's a timer, and if you don't buy it before the timer runs out, the price increases and that's tagged to you. So I'm sorry, but if the price is 17 or whether it's 7 or whatever it is, if you're not willing to spend $17 to attend a live stream to learn how to build an empire that expands beyond the capacity of Napoleon in ancient times, then you don't belong on this live stream and you should just hang up, go home, tuck your tail behind your legs, walk into Walmart with your application and say, please give me a job because home business is not for you. I'm serious about that, right? This is badass stuff. This is the kind of stuff where you can learn how to build an organization that is beyond the capacity of most people's ability to imagine. Whether or not you're putting in a lot of energy and time and effort, it will continue to expand if you build it right. These are the things that will stop you from getting rated with phone calls. You'll get rated with commissions instead. These are the things that are going to allow you to literally go into any company at any time, and you can literally not just dominate the leaderboards and produce, but you can literally build team systems. And you can build empires that literally all the people in the company start flooding into your organization, into your team, and just want to know what you know because you'll be able to grow so fast. This is that kind of stuff. That's what we're going to teach you, and I'll give you some examples as we go through tonight, as we go through this hangout. So anyway, I had these series of discoveries back in 2009. Right? So what I did is I started to try them out. And this was early March, May time. Well, here's what happened. I started to test out and try out some of the principles in the team building formula early around March, and then into April, and then into May, right? And here's exactly what happened. Now, see our income disclosure, because this is even before Empower Network existed, and especially here in anything else. I'm not going to promise you're going to make it to red cent because I don't know if you're going to work or not, okay? See our income disclosure, empowernetwork.com/. But here's what happened to me, okay? What happened to me is my income had gone like this, and it just kind of stayed the same when I went to work, and I was good at that, right? But here's what happened. I tested out a couple of these concepts, and all of a sudden I had a $50,000 month, and then $70,000 month, and then like $200,000 or $300,000 months in a row, like that, right? Just from applying some of these concepts that you're about to learn when you pop on this Saturday's webcast, right? It was like a radical transformation in my ability to influence, my ability to make money while not increasing my workload at all, right? And so what I decided to do was because there was no company that was operating under all these principles, I decided to start the company that I am now, which is Empower Network. So what I did is I took all the principles of the team building formula and I started a company that was based on it, right? Well, when I did that, here's what happened. I got in a room with 35 people and I just told them the vision, right? I contacted some of the best people that I'd met over the last few years, right? I wouldn't start from zero. But I contacted some of the best people that I'd met, building businesses, being the top producer in 4 different companies. And I said, this is what we're going to do. This is the vision. This is where we're going to go. Every one of them got in. That group of 35 people then in the next month turned into over 10,000 people in about 45 days, right? So I took a group of 35 people, I turned them into 10,000. Today that group of people has now brought in about 300,000 customers, right? From that original room of people that I started this company in back in 2011. That is the power of learning how to build teams. It's to take a small group and turn it into a big group, right? I was listening to an audio a long time ago. This is by one of the people that really is the best in the industry. I'm not going to tell you who it is because you'll just have to go listen to as many audios as you can to try to figure it out, right? But I listened to this audio, and this guy had a team around the time of about 200,000 people, 250,000 people. And somebody asked him, they said, how in the world do you work with 250,000 people, right? How do you do that? That's like more than half of the state of Alaska. I mean, how do you work with that many people? And this guy, he says, I don't work with 250,000 people. And the person was confused, and they say, what are you talking about? He says, I work with about 20, 25 people, right? The guy goes, no, but you've got like 250,000 people in your team. He says, yeah, but don't mistake that for running around being busy with 250,000 people. He says, I work with about 25, right? The art of team building is the art of being able to take 25 people and to turn them into 250,000, right? To take 25 customers and turn them into 100,000 customers. To take 10,000 customers and turn them into 3,000. To take a room of 35 and turn it into 10,000. That's the art of team building, right? And the art of team building is the ability to keep people around. The art of team building is to be able to do things in a way where as your team expands, your time commitment doesn't expand, right? How do you do that? I teach you how to do that in this product, right? Now here's the thing, if you haven't bought that for $7 or $17 now, I actually kind of think you're stupid. But you might not be, you might just not be in our target market, right? So if you're watching this and you're not somebody who's interested in building a business from home, and you're not interested in making money on the internet, I think that you'll probably find the things that I say radically annoying, and you should probably just hang up and go back to like surfing around and looking like at penny auctions or whatever it is that you do, right? But if you really want to make money on the internet, this stuff is really interesting to you, and you find that stuff is expensive because I'm not talking to you because you pulled out your credit card and you're making a decision because you obviously want to learn that stuff, right? So I'm speaking to a very specific group when I'm talking on tonight's live cast, right? Here's what we're doing, right? And here's what you have the ability to do over the course of the next few days is I don't want you to just get on this live cast. I want you to actually make money with us over the next week, demonstrate these principles to you, and demonstrate how simple it is that they work. Because it's one thing for me to come on here and say, hey, what I want you to do is I want you to, go do this if this works, right? And then you have to just go figure it out and try it. But it's a whole other thing to come and say, okay, here's what I'm going to give you the opportunity to do. I want to show you the power of team building. I want to show you how this works. So what I want you to do with us here over the next little bit is I want you, okay, I want you to make money with us this week using these principles. Make money with us this week, right? Now, so what we've done is we've put together a system, because this is the problem that I discovered over a lot of testing and trying things, okay? Trying things out. This is what I discovered on why most people fail at making money. It's because most people can't sell, right? And it pretty much boils down to that. Most people are just, when it comes to sales, they either feel embarrassed, they don't know what they're doing, and they need to learn to sell. But the problem is that learning to sell can take so much time that the process from beginning to learn to sell to learning to sell, there's like this massive time gap, right? So what happens to most people is when they get started building business online, there's so many things that they have to do to get to sell, right? That before they ever do any of those things, they just quit. That's actually what I was experiencing for about 2 years before I figured out the principles of team building formula. Is I was really good at selling, I was really good at communicating, I was really good at marketing, I was really good at attracting people, I was really good at teaching people things. What happened is I had this big team of people, this big army of people that were all in this gap period. So I'd get a person in who didn't know how to sell, and what would happen is that they would start doing all the dumb stuff that I did in my business before I learned to sell, which was a lot of dumb stuff. It took me a long time to learn to sell. You know what I mean? I wasn't just born good at this. I might have been born with like a gift of gab or whatever, but I wasn't born with the ability to sell. Oh no, right? I've been selling my whole life, and I sucked at it for a long time. In fact, when I was 21 years old, when I was first in that company, it took me 6 months to recruit my first person. 6 months. Most of you guys, you started a business and it didn't take you 6 months to recruit your first person. It took you like, a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, and you thought you were doing bad. It took me 6 months to get one, and like another 8 months or something to get another one. In fact, I just ran into the second guy I ever recruited, right? When the other week when I was doing Livecast, he just joined Empower Network, a guy named Patrick Stanford, right? Why? Because I was doing so much dumb stuff, it took me forever to figure out what to do. So what happens is when you're building an organization, when you're building a business, you got to think about it like there's this bridge in time, right? And there's a person who's starting here, right? And you need them to be able to do what exists when they can do skills that they can't do right now. And there's going to be a time gap between the time that they get started and the time when they can do those skills. And that time gap is going to entirely depend on who that person is and when they're starting. Sometimes the time gap is a week. Sometimes the time gap is 6 years. And you don't have any clue what time gap it is. The time gap that exists for a person is the time gap that is there by a dictation of who they are and what they've been through in their life. Some people, for example, before they ever get to you, before they ever get to your team, they've been through 6 years of attempting things, and they just won't quit. Well, that person is way over here on the time gap. Okay? Another time, you'll have a person that maybe they've not been in network marketing, but they're really influential, they really know how to communicate and sell. So their time gap is going to be like maybe a week. They got to learn some information and apply it, and they got to go out there and get a result. And you're going to have some people that they're never going to learn to sell. Their time gap is going to be like 20 years, right? So what most people in network marketing are trying to do, what most people in the internet are trying to do, is they're trying to take their core customers, right? And they're trying to get babies, right, to do like algebra. That's what they're trying to do, right? Now I know this because I got a son, and my son now, right, I think he's 7 months old, 7.5 months old, right? And when he was born, he didn't know how to do anything, right? He couldn't even move his eyes. And I thought actually he had a problem with his vision. And those of you who are parents, you know what I'm talking about, where your kid doesn't follow your hand when you move your hand like this. And so you're like, maybe there's something wrong. But nobody ever bothered to tell you that babies can't see color yet when they're born. Their optic nerve isn't fully developed. They can only see black and white. And so unless you have a radical change in lighting, right, they don't really get shocked by anything that they see. You can go like this in front of their face and they don't even blink. They don't see it, right? Nobody ever bothered to tell me that. But the fact is, first they couldn't see color, right? Then he started moving his eyes. Then he had to learn to control the movement of his eyes. And then it was like a month or something before he could like follow something with his eyes and control the movement. And then he was controlling his hands. And then he started to move a little bit, right? And the other month I was in Denver, Colorado, and I was holding my son. There was our CMO, Mars, who's actually on here with us. And I was holding him like this, right? And when I was holding my son, right, all of a sudden I could tell, because I've been around, I could tell that he just learned that he had a hand and that he could control it. because he was going like this, like babies do, right? And this was maybe 5 months or 6 months old or something. But moving his arms everywhere, and all of a sudden his arm passed his vision, and he goes like this. And then he looked at it and he goes, right? And he realized that that was his and he was moving, right? Now, we had to stop talking and watch that for about 20 minutes, right? See, none of us remember being babies, unless you're some freak, right? None of us remember that, right? But all of us were babies at one point. And at one point, all of you were frustrated learning to control your hand. At one point, all of you were frustrated learning to walk, but then a few months later, you could run. At one point, all of you were frustrated trying to learn, trying to figure out, is an A a C? And trying to look at the difference. At one point, you were frustrated. I still remembered when I learned which hand was my left hand and which hand was my right hand. I was walking with my brother in the snow, right? And he goes, this is my right hand, and he held it up, right? Which, of course, this is my right hand. It's reversing it. I don't know why you see it on the screen, right? And I go, right hand. And I held up this, and he goes, no, the other one's your right hand. And I go, right hand. And he says, yes. He says, this one's your left hand. I held it up, and I was confused because I didn't know the difference between this hand and this one, right? Now, here's what you're doing in your business most of the time. And most of the mistakes that you're doing in your whole, everything that you do, the reason your time is being sucked up, the reason your new members are consuming your whole existence, the reason if you've ever recruited a lot of people, your email inbox just blows up and people want to communicate to you all the time. All of it boils down to you have somebody who can't tell which hand is left and which hand is right. And you're trying to get that person to do calculus, right? You need to give them something that they can get results with, not understanding how to be a guru yet, right? You need to fill in that time gap with something, right? So the art of growing a team fast is this. It's you've got a person who's starting and they can't walk, or they can't tell what's left or right, or they just became aware and conscious that they have a hand that they can move. That's where they are in their development on the stage, making money from home, right? And you're trying to get them to do like what I do, or what you do, or what works for you, right? But it took you some time and effort to learn to do that, right? And maybe you had life experiences and skills this person never even had, right? So if you take this stuff and you dump it on this person, and you try to get this person to make money doing this stuff, right? Here's what's going to happen until you stop it. What's going to happen is it's like this person is going to be so overwhelmed and so frustrated and make so little money that they're just going to quit. And you're going to be in this treadmill of building a team and people quitting, and building a team and people quitting, and building a team and people quitting, and building a team. And you're going to reach a threshold that you can't expand beyond. And when that happens, what happens to you is your income stays stuck at your production level. What the team building formula is all about is the team building formula is about giving you tools and strategies to be able to build an organization and remove yourself from it. It's about building your team in a way that can expand around the globe. It's about building your team in a way where you're taking this person and you're helping them get these results, crossing over the time gap before they even know what's going on, right? You're helping this person here get the results of a guru without being one. You're helping this person here recruit like a superstar without being a superstar yet. They just think that they are, right? You're helping this person here, and they're skipping through time through all those learning curves, not even knowing what's going on, getting results, and learning as they're getting the results. You're skipping over the time gap. That's what I discovered in 2011. That's what you get to buy for $7 or $17. That's what you're going to learn this Saturday. That's what the team building formula is all about. It's about skipping through time. It's about taking you and getting you results faster. It's about, as you're doing that, removing yourself from the picture so you don't make the same mistakes everybody makes. And I want to emphasize that. Sometimes we think we're unique. Like when I was frustrated and I wasn't getting my team to duplicate, when I finally started to be able to build teams, I finally started to be able to get people that they just weren't duplicating, I was so mad because I thought I was the only one. I thought everybody else would like get a team and they'd get 5, who got 5, who got 5, and I was like this poor sucker, right, who was like bringing in all these people and nobody was doing anything. But what I realized when I met all these gurus who were like fake MLM experts, but really just made their living selling courses and stuff, And when I met all these people that quit MLM and then went into info marketing businesses because they gave up on it, and when I met all these old schoolers that had the same problems that online people had, and they just wouldn't admit it, right? What I realized is the same problems that existed when I started existed on the internet, existed everywhere, and literally people will make the same mistakes, right, if they're not taught the principles of the team building formula. They will make hundreds of thousands of dollars in mistakes. You might have made millions of dollars of mistakes in how you start people, in how you build your team, in how you manage your time. And maybe you're not making financial mistakes, but your life is consumed because you're running around and running around and running around. Let me give you an example of just one of the things that you learn in the team building formula, right? I teach a principle called the principle of the time trap, right? And Paul, I know he just watched that, and his comment made me want to bring him on and just tell you his thoughts on it in a bit. But the principle of the time trap basically teaches you just a concept where when you're building an organization, you have to ask a question when you're doing anything. And the question is, if this works, if what I'm doing works, okay, by it working, will it expand the amount of time that I have to give into my business in order to sustain it? So in other words, if the strategy that I start works, okay, will my time commitment rapidly expand as it's working, right? Now, most people never ask that question. They never say, well, if I coach people one-on-one and they actually get results, they never ask the question, well, what will happen? Well, if you actually go out there and you're one of these guys that coaches people one-on-one, right, and that's what you do, and you're doing it for free like I did, and it actually works and it actually gets people results, what's it going to do? If you're building an organization and you're building a rapidly expanding customer base, here's exactly what will happen. What will happen is your phone will blow up, and your email will blow up, and your time will be so consumed you'll never be able to detach from it. Why? Because all of a sudden what you're going to actually